Hello there, Eagles fans, and welcome back to our Eagles Therapy Podcast. I'm Basil.
And I'm Baz.
And we are recording Sunday, August 25th, 2024. Yesterday, the Eagles took on the Vikings in that morning game we talked about.
Yes.
Not so much of an eventful game. We're not going to spend too much time talking about it. We are going to go over our final roster predictions for the 53-man roster. We'll touch on the game a little bit, but we don't really have much to.
Yeah, it's just so hard when game 3, nobody's really playing. Some players did; they looked good. Some guys looked good. Some guys didn't. But
yeah,
you just can't just wipe it from the memory banks. It's gone.
Yeah. Let's get into it. We do want to start off by saying we might have a little sniffle in our nose, might have some red eyes going across. We don't want to get too emotional, but we did just have to say goodbye to our dog. Just about 40 minutes, 50 minutes, about an hour ago actually.
Yeah.
Had to say goodbye to my childhood dog and the dog that my parents we'd had for 13 years. Yeah. So it was a little difficult for us. A little difficult for us to say goodbye to her, but we're happy. We just want to address that just in case we have a little weird sound in us. But all right, let's go ahead and just before we do that, as always, give a plug to our Eagles Fan Club of Colorado Springs. This year, we're going to be meeting at Rhino's Sports Bar and Grill for the first few games. We'll update you and keep you in the loop on when we're going back to Frankie's and the process and progress that they're making over there.
Yeah. Less than 2 weeks away.
That's right. I mean, September 6th. Man, that's crazy.
Mark the calendar now.
Yep. All right, so the Eagles played the Vikings. They lost their preseason finale 26-3 to the Vikings. Like we talked about, not a fun game. It's also hard because it's not on TV. I'm watching it on my phone legally. I'm telling you what's happening. We'll watch it on tape delay, but at that point, you lost 26-3. You don't really want to watch. It's hard to get into the. I sat through
that first quarter I looked at certain players that I wanted to see do stuff, and there were some things that were good, but some things that weren't so good. But that's, again, there's no who's playing, right?
And it's difficult. Let's get into some thoughts. I have just a few thoughts on the game, things that I'll let you kind of address, or I'll talk about, and then you kind of give me your thoughts on it as well. So number one, note, Kenny Pickett is not good. I mean, and we knew that. Like, we knew when we trade for him, it's not like we're trading for Pro Bowl. No. Yeah. We know we're getting a backup. And that's the thing that you keep reminding yourself. He is a backup who played a lot in the NFL, played 2 full seasons, I think, or a season and a half at least for Pittsburgh. So, he has experience and everything, but he just doesn't look good. I know his stats don't look that bad because he's completing his passes, but he doesn't throw the ball.
Well, I've been saying that.
Than 10
5 yards on the field. But, I mean, the only thing you can say, he's young. He's played a lot in college. He played a lot in pro. So there's, it's still clay that can be molded, hopefully. I'm not going to, discount him right away. But from what I've seen so far, I'm not very.
It's one of those things that I think – at this point, I don't know how you play him over Tanner McKee. Now, I know Tanner McKee's a second-year guy, and we're probably getting ahead of ourselves. He looks great, but it's in the preseason, yada, yada. But, man, I just don't know how you want to play Pickett over McKee at this point.
I'm with you.
Oren Burks, linebacker that we talked about, he was hurt a lot of preseason and practice, and he couldn't do much and wasn't really fighting for a spot because he couldn't practice.
Show anything,
Had a great game. He had 6 tackles. He had 1 sack. He actually played really well. And it's one of those things where you're kind of like, is it too late? Because Van Sumeren, he had 6 tackles and a sack as well. And those are the 2 guys that are definitely.
And he's been on the field.
That's the thing. He's been not just on the field. He's been practicing, and in the games. For
he showed up in the games
4 weeks, 5 weeks, and he's only gotten 3 days. So I'm worried to say it's probably too little, too late. But it's unfortunate because, man, he really looked like he came to play once he had the chance, and you would like to see him make the roster, but I just don't think we have the room for him.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah. All right, let's go. Ainias Smith, my next guy I was going to talk about. I thought Ainias Smith had a really good game. He had 6 catches for 36 yards, 9 targets. I don't think he had any drops, but just, he's playing with Kenny Pickett.
Right, no great pass.
Drops,
the kind you're looking for.
Yeah, but I think he did enough to kind of establish himself on the roster.
He's a 5th round pick. They're going to probably keep him. They wanted to keep him too.
Oh yeah,
but it's good to see him at least I think he turned it around ever since the 2-pointer a few weeks ago.
Definitely.
I think he's maybe he was overwhelmed. It's too much too early.
Too fast of a game for him. Yeah.
Pressure on himself. This guy might be just putting too much on him from the beginning. So.
And like you said, a 5th-round pick rookie, you expect him to make the roster. But it seemed like after a bit, it was like, man,
it looked bad.
It's kind of like, depending on what we see from other guys, he might not make the roster.
Right.
But now it looks like we're probably cemented on there. He had a pretty darn good game. But let's go into Tristan McCollum. I thought he had a great game. Another player who we're going to go into our
slow start.
Yeah, we're going to go into our rosters.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's making the team. I have a scenario in which I think he does make the team, but for my first roster, I don't have him on it. But he had a great game. I believe 9 tackles. He did have the interception that was called back, unfortunately.
Still, but he caught the interception.
He caught the pick, and he had a pretty good return.
Nice return. Good field awareness. That's what you're looking for.
Yeah. That leads me to the next king, Cooper DeJean, who the flag was on to call back that interception. I didn't like that call. I know it's preseason, so you can't sit there and complain too much about it. But it's like, come on, come on.
Yeah.
He didn't
grab his shirt.
He didn't grab him. He didn't push him. He didn't. They nudged, but he didn't push him on the ground. Like he still ran his route. Like, come on, But he did look a little rusty. He had a couple plays where it seemed like he was just a little bit out of place.
Slow, a little bit. Not as quick on his feet as we think he's going to be. But.
Well, I think I wouldn't even say as we think he's going to be. I think it's just he hasn't played football since November. He hasn't played football since he got hurt, and so that's 9 months away from football. So I can't. Yeah. I'm not going to sit and say, "Oh, it doesn't look good." No, like we'll give it a bit. He's going to have get his sea legs back.
He might not be starting right away, but
no, he's not going to.
That's the thing. We just want him to learn and feel comfortable where he is, and hopefully work himself into the lineup here in the next 3-4 weeks.
Yeah, he won't be starting, but he'll be on the field because you got to get him on the field. He's one of those players. But hopefully after the first couple, he's been back at practice for about a week now.
Yeah,
and hopefully now it starts to progress even more, give him more chance and everything like that. So. We'll see how that goes. Do you have anything else to touch on the game?
Not really. Just that, again, he's got, 2 weeks of practice basically before the game. Of course, they're going to be flying out of Philly probably Wednesday for the game.
Friday game. Yeah.
I don't know their schedule, right? But, he's definitely got this week and a little bit more of the week after that to kind of get his sea legs a little bit. And,
definitely.
Get comfortable. I know he's been on the sidelines watching and kind of working out as things go, but, it's not easy. You just can't walk right in and start playing at the level you're expected to. So.
Definitely. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get into our rosters. So we'll go piece by piece. So these are our final roster predictions. We'll go piece by piece, quarterback, running back. We're probably going to have mostly similar stuff towards the top.
I would think so.
You go ahead and start us off with your quarterbacks.
Well, you got the 3, right? Hurts, Pickett, McKee.
Yeah,
so
I agree. The only thing to touch on there is McKee should probably be the 2.
Yeah, leapfrog, but we'll see. Hopefully neither of them see the field. That's the main thing. Running backs, I got Barkley, Gainwell, and Shipley.
Yep,
I only have 3. I don't have 4 because I know we can stick anybody on the practice squad that we really think. Price maybe possible,
I think,
but
if you're keeping any money, you're probably keeping Davis, Price, Milton, Nichols.
But I prefer to hold on to maybe some of these corners or safety.
I agree.
In my opinion, that's my opinion.
Yeah, I'd say the running back spot. I think instead of bringing 4, because that's always been the thing. You always usually brought 4.
Yes.
Last year we had 4 all year, and then we never played.
But it's not your mother's NFL anymore. It's changed so much. It's crazy.
Last year we brought 4 and we didn't play Rashad Penny at all. You know what I mean?
Please.
So,
don't remind me.
That's one of those things. Why bring them if you're not going to play them? So, if they're going to be inactive on game day, why bring 4?
You have a young corner, a young safety, one of these developmental guys. But go ahead. You do the wide receivers.
I got the same 2 guys though, in Tyrion Davis, Price, Milton. We'll hope to see them on the practice squad. I got 6 at wide receiver.
Same here, but I don't know how many.
I've got AJ Brown, Smitty, Covey, Johnny Wilson, Anaya Smith, and Jahan Dotson. That's pretty simple. Yes. That Jahan Dotson's obviously going to make the team. So there's 4 locks. After that, Johnny Wilson and Anaya Smith. It bummed me out because I wanted to have Joseph Nagata. I wanted to keep him. But I feel like Anaya Smith, the value of him as a rookie and a 5th-round pick is going to be.
You got to look at who might get pulled off your.
True.
You know how the rosters are. They're good for a week, and then the NFL starts, and then 2 weeks later, or a week later, it's all changed. But for now, we want to protect Anaya Smith. So, and I don't think anyone would take Nagata or anybody else with his passing. It's possible, but
no, you're right. I don't. It is possible. I don't know. He had a really good one game. I don't know. We'll see.
But every team's got that 2 or 3 guys that are doing the same thing. So
we don't notice them. Why would they don't notice
us? Exactly.
Tight end, I've got 3.
I've got 2.
Okay. So I'm assuming we're the first 2, Goddard, Calcaterra.
Yes.
I'm keeping E.J. Jenkins.
Right, and I knew you were.
Yeah.
But my thinking, again, is we could probably stash him on the practice squad and bring him up if needed. And, again, I'd rather have an extra just somebody that could be taken.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Somebody that maybe shined a little bit more
than
EJ, although he played well in the preseason.
Yeah, the big worry for me is because on game day, you have to have 3 tight ends. Because you got 11 personnel, 12, 13 personnel.
Right.
Where you can run with 2 tight ends, 3 tight ends. We did 3 tight ends so many times last year.
Right.
With, Stoll and Goddard, Stoll and Calcaterra. So you're going to have 3, and if you could keep 2, and he's on the practice squad, and every week he's the elevation, but you can only elevate him 4 times.
Okay.
4 times.
Okay.
So that's it, right?
I thought it mattered how many years you're in the league and things like that too.
No, because
you're right.
I think it's 3 or 4 times. I'm lost now. I think it's 4 times. You have to, you can elevate him more than that.
And then he's on the roster.
Then
for the
you have
rest
to
of the
sign
season.
him.
Yes.
Because that's what we had to do with Covey his rookie year. We elevated him 4 times. Then we were like, all right,
which was a good move.
We have to sign him now.
Right.
We did it with our punter last year, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We didn't have a punter on the team.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and go into offensive line for us.
Offensive line.
The easy 5.
I carried 9.
Okay.
Just because we might have a different number. Mailata, Dickerson, Juergens, Becton, Lane,
Yep.
Johnson.
Easy.
I got Steen, Fred Johnson, Keegan, and McMahon.
Okay.
I'm sorry, is it McMahon? Or
Yes, McMahon. Yeah,
but there's a possible 10th, but I only, for now, I've only got him.
Who would you have as your possible 10th?
I would probably keep Brett.
Yeah.
Toll, just because he's versatile.
Yeah.
But again, I don't think, hopefully week 1 you're going to get through relatively unscathed.
True. Yeah, I brought 10th. Brought 10. I had the same 10 guys, except I added Brett Toth.
Okay.
I think you were going to keep him in there. So
You've got 2
guys
more
above you right now.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll see what happens towards the end part here. You have the obviously 5 starters, and then I do have. I'll get into my scenario at the end for something, but we'll go ahead and go into defensive tackle. I'll start it. I got the 5: Carter, Davis, Williams, Tuipulotu, and Ojomo.
Right. So I've got 6 on my DTs.
Whoa.
I've got Carter, Davis, Milton, Williams, Tuipulotu, Ojomo. I think is that 5?
Say it again.
So Carter, Davis, Milton.
Well, Milton Williams is one person.
Okay. Tuipulotu and Ojomo. So I only have 5. I don't know. I counted wrong.
You're good. Yeah, so 5 guys. I think you could see a possible 6th there if things changed around where they keep either Thomas Booker or P.J. Mustafa.
Booker's the one that I thought, every time I watched some of the games, of course it was probably second or third quarter, and out of the corner of my eye, I'd say, who's that guy with the 4? Booker number IV, and who's him? He's made some plays, so it's very possible he was one of the guys that I was considering. And then, of course, Mustafa,
PJ.
good too. So
great.
It depends
really good game.
how the numbers work. I'm not sure, if they can stash them on the practice squad as well. So
we'll see. Yep.
So I just had 5 there.
Okay, gotcha. Defensive end, you go ahead and give me.
So I got Sweat, Huff, Smith, Graham, Hunt, and Pat Johnson. I got 6.
Okay, I got the same exact 6. Okay. Yeah, that one's pretty. That one's pretty simple. Johnson's the rough one there.
Right.
He would be the guy left off, but I think he gets you. He played really good in the preseason. He gets you pressures, and he's a great special teamer. You gotta have special teamers.
Right.
Once you get to the defensive end, linebackers, cornerbacks, you gotta have special teamers. Same with the wide receivers. And Isaiah Smith,
right.
You have to have guys who will be able to make tackles on kickoffs and punts and stuff.
Exactly.
And I think Johnson's big on that. Jalix Hunt has been really good in the preseason as a special teamer. But
against first teams, second teams, he's played well against everybody. So he's looking like the player we're hoping he is.
Definitely. All right, linebacker, I'll go ahead. I have 5.
Okay.
I'm keeping Devin White, Zach Bond, Nakobe Dean, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., and Ben Van Sumer.
I have 5 as well. So we're same spot there.
So the one that's left off there is Oren Burks.
Right.
That's where the competition between Van Sumer and Oren Burks. Oren Burks, maybe he's better, but Van Sumer's been playing on this defense longer for the last 2 years. He's been a special teamer for us for 2 years. You got to keep him because he just has he knows what he's doing. And I think he's a great special teamer. And if he comes in as a linebacker, if you need him, I think he holds his own. I think he can hold his own against starters.
He's played well.
All right, so we're going to have some differences here. Cornerback.
How many you got?
I have 6.
I got 6 too. Maybe I can't count.
Okay, go ahead.
I've got Slay, Quinyal Mitchell, Rogers, Ringo, Cooper, DeGene, of course, and Eli Ricks.
Yeah, I got the same.
So it's the same 6. So hopefully I've got one more safety than you.
Yeah. Must be.
I hope.
Unless
that or I can't count.
Yeah, the one we're leaving off there is, unfortunately, I think Josh Jobe and Zach McPherson. One of those two that you'd be keeping if you could.
Yeah, Zach is one who I thought last year was kind of a savior for us at certain times. But
I mean, last year he was supposed to be our nickel cornerback going into the season, back up to Avante, and then he tore his Achilles before the season started. And it stunk because then Avante Maddox got hurt.
Right.
And then Zach McPherson was supposed to be the backup. Then we had to go to Tristan McCollum and Mekhi Garner,
they weren't really ready, but
it just wasn't ready,
Yeah, McPherson was one that I thought was, we thought he was going to develop and play, and that's unfortunate when he got hurt because it looked like,
he was finally going to get
he's showing something. Now he's going to get some time, and let's see if he's got it. And then he got hurt, and that kind of hurt. And then, of course, Maddox went down again.
And then Josh Jobe last year going into the season, he was our third corner. Like, he was like, outside corner, not, he was going to be our third outside corner. He's going to be a big deal. And then just there's too many guys. You can't keep everyone in the world. It's unfortunate because he's a great special teamer. So him and Zach McPherson, I think, will both get signed the moment they're cut because they're good special teamers.
Right.
And other teams are going to go, we needed that. Yes. We need this. We need that. So
yes, there's GMs out there looking. That's why it's kind of scary when you put it together. That's where you kind of stash players if you can, and hopefully nobody picks them up.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're cheering for them to make it in the NFL too, but we want them on our team.
Definitely. What do you got for safety?
I got 4. How many you got?
I have 3.
3, okay. So I've got Maddox, CJ, GJ, Reed, and McCollum.
So, that's where
I knew that's where we were going to have a little discussion.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping that, I just want to see some development, and hopefully Reed can continue his play.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have McCollum, but here's where my scenario I talked to you about. So, I know we don't know about Tyler Steen. We know he's going to be on the team, of course, but we don't know if we don't know about his injury. So he won't be on PUP, but you could put him on IR, and you can bring him back later in the season. Depending on how serious it is. Right. And if they do that, I think the first person on the roster would be Tristan McCollum.
Gotcha.
I think if Steen has to be on the IR, we would have 9 offensive linemen, like we talked about. Right. You said, and then that would give us one more safety. Spot. I think that's the most likely scenario.
Well, that's where I get back to Toth, where he's been around for a while. Yeah. So I don't think anybody's knocking the door down. So we could probably
we could sneak
have him through. But hopefully, Steen, again, we haven't gotten any updates on his injury, so we don't know if he is actually a bad one or a week or two or something like that.
So, I don't know about it yet. And then we got the same 3 specialists, Jake, Braden, and Lovato, of course. And then I have Sidney Brown will be on the PUP.
Right. How many guys do you get to put on the PUP? Is there few they can stash? Because I know that's one of the big things they do is put a player that's in a contract dispute or whatever, stick them on that too, and hopefully you get a few more weeks before you have to sign them, whatever, but... you're going to go with the 58 or the 53.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
it never does this. I wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't a limit.
Right.
Because it depends on their injury. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. But I think Steen, the most likely scenario would be Steen going to IR, and then they bring McCollum on.
Well, we have a few other linemen that we could actually bring up too, right? Don't we have that shipping guy or...
Yeah, Max Sharper.
He's played pretty well.
Yeah.
And played a lot, so...
Darius Kennard.
He's another one. I guess Kennard. Yesterday he had a really good block on a pole or something, one of the runs from Price, from what I heard, saw.
Yeah. All right, you got anything else to say about the roster?
Not really, but we'll see. We've only got a few days. Here's the Sunday night. You got till Tuesday at probably 4 o'clock, 2 o'clock our time. So we're looking at a day, a good less than 2 days before we'll know for sure who makes the roster. And then the fun starts with the signing of the free agents and stashing the players on the
practice squad
thing, and
find out who's going to make.
Of course, now it's more expanded than it used to be ever, so it's kind of cool.
Definitely. Cool. Well, then let's go ahead and get into other sports. I got nothing on the Sixers. The Phillies, they won their series against the Royals. They're 6-game ahead of the Braves. They're going to be starting in a series against the Astros coming up next. The Union, they unfortunately lost in that 3rd place for the League Cup.
Right.
In a penalty shootout against Colorado Rapids, which is a bummer. They're going to be playing the Columbus.
And they were home, too, I believe. Yes, they were.
They were.
Yeah.
Man, that stinks.
They're hurting this year. They're not just – they're having a good little run, but there's – I don't know, maybe they're – sitting on these League Cup games. They don't really mean as much.
They're going to be playing the Columbus Crew on, I believe, Wednesday.
Who just beat them in the
just beat them in there.
In the League Cup game.
That's right.
Wednesday or whatever.
I got nothing on the Flyers. Penn State, we're coming up around it. The first game is going to be on Saturday, the 31st, 10 a.m. our time, and we're going to be playing against West Virginia. So it's big noon, 12 o'clock game back east.
Already starting.
Man, getting excited. Getting very excited to watch those Lions.
That's cool.
Nittany Lions.
That's cool.
Yeah, you got anything else?
No, not really, no.
Yeah, we're coming at you with a short one. We just wanted to get our final rosters out there, so and then not much to talk about, but the game kind of shuts it down too.
Yeah, it was tough.
Fantasy football is around the corner. We'll be touching on that sometimes throughout the week and everything. And,
we'll have to do some player stuff like we did last year.
I'm in 2 leagues this year, so
okay, nice.
I kind of semi-retired there for a bit. I came back for the last 2 years. I won the championship, then I lost in the championship, so I'm on a good run right now, and I'm joining 2 leagues this year, so I'm coming back full speed.
Cool. That's cool.
Hopefully, some of my fantasy
load up that roster with Eagles.
I have to. I have to. All right, we'll say our goodbyes. You can follow us on Facebook. If you like our Eagles Therapy podcast, do us a favor, rate and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe and comment down below what you think of the roster. If you have any roster hopefuls, any surprises you're expecting, anything like that, let us know. You can email us any questions or comments at oureaglestherapy@gmail.com. But other than that, from all of us here at Our Eagles Therapy Podcast, I'm Basil.
And I'm Baz.
Go Birds.
And fly, Eagles fly.